Before we begin, if you are serious about upgrading your mindset and building the kind of discipline that separates winners from dreamers, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. Because what you're about to hear is not just motivation, it is a mindset shift that can change your entire life. Now listen carefully. The power of consistency over talent is one of the most underrated truths in the world. We live in a society that glorifies natural ability. We admire the gifted athlete, the genius entrepreneur, the naturally charismatic speaker. We assume they were born different. We assume they have something we do not. But what most people fail to see is that talent without consistency is wasted potential. Talent might open the door, but consistency keeps you in the room. Talent might give you a head start, but consistency wins the marathon. There are thousands of talented people who never succeed because they rely on ability instead of discipline. And there are millions of ordinary people who achieve extraordinary results because they show up every single day, regardless of how they feel. That is the difference. Consistency does not care about mood. It does not depend on motivation. It does not wait for inspiration. It operates on commitment. When you are consistent, you are telling yourself and the world that your goals matter more than your excuses. Think about it. One intense workout does not build a strong body. One day of healthy eating does not transform your health. 1 week of studying does not make you an expert. But repeated effort day after day, month after month, year after year, that is unstoppable. Consistency compounds. It is like interest in a bank account. Small daily deposits turn into massive returns over time. Talent, on the other hand, fades without effort. A gifted person who stops practicing will eventually be surpassed by the average person who refuses to quit, because skill improves with repetition. Confidence grows with action. Strength builds with resistance. And none of those things happen without consistency. The uncomfortable truth is this: most people are not lacking talent. They are lacking discipline. They start strong and quit early. They get excited and then distracted. They feel motivated and then lose focus. But consistency requires emotional control. It requires showing up when you are tired, working when you are bored, practicing when you do not feel like it. That is where real growth happens. That is where separation begins. When you commit to consistency, you stop negotiating with weakness. You stop waiting for the perfect moment. You stop relying on how you feel. Instead, you build habits so strong that success becomes automatic. The power of consistency is that it transforms identity. When you work out every day, you become someone who does not skip workouts. When you read daily, you become someone who values learning. When you practice your craft relentlessly, you become someone who takes excellence seriously. Identity is shaped by repeated action. And once your identity shifts, your results follow naturally. Talent might get applause early, but consistency earns respect long-term. The world is full of people who were once called prodigies, who showed promise, who were labeled as gifted, but they disappeared because they stopped showing up. And then there are the quiet workers, the ones nobody notices in the beginning. The ones who struggle, who fail, who learn slowly, but they stay consistent, and slowly, silently, they improve. They sharpen their skills, they build resilience. They strengthen their mindset, until one day people call them lucky. People say they are talented, but what they really are is disciplined. Consistency builds mental toughness. It trains you to overcome resistance. It strengthens your focus. It builds patience. Because real success does not happen overnight. It is built brick by brick, day by day, effort by effort. When you embrace consistency, you stop chasing quick results. You focus on daily progress. And daily progress creates massive transformation over time. The power of consistency is also freedom, because when you know you can rely on yourself to show up, you eliminate self-doubt. You build trust with yourself. And self-trust is one of the most powerful forms of confidence. When you say you will do something and you actually do it repeatedly, you prove to yourself that you are dependable. That belief changes how you walk, how you speak, how you approach challenges. You no longer fear difficulty because you know you can handle it. You have evidence, and evidence beats motivation every time. Talent may give you an advantage, but it does not guarantee endurance. Consistency guarantees growth. Even on days when progress feels invisible, something is happening. You are building endurance. You are strengthening discipline. You are sharpening focus. Those invisible improvements eventually become visible results. The key is patience. Most people quit right before progress appears. They stop because they do not see immediate rewards. But consistency teaches delayed gratification. It teaches you to work without applause, to improve without validation, to grind without recognition. And that mindset is rare, extremely rare. That is why consistent people dominate in the long run. They are not distracted by trends. They are not shaken by setbacks. They are not discouraged by slow progress. They understand that mastery takes time, and they are willing to invest that time. Imagine two people starting at the same level. One is naturally talented but inconsistent. The other is average but disciplined. After 1 year, the talented person might still appear ahead. After 3 years, the gap shrinks. After 10 years, there is no comparison, because consistency compounds while talent stagnates without effort. This is why you must stop comparing your starting point to someone else's natural ability. Focus on your daily effort. Focus on your habits. Focus on your improvement, because in the long run, the most consistent person wins. Not the most gifted, not the most hyped, not the most praised, the most disciplined. Consistency also protects you from emotional extremes. When you rely on motivation, you are unstable. When you rely on discipline, you are steady, and steady progress always beats emotional bursts of effort. You do not need to be extraordinary every day. You just need to be consistent every day. Even small actions matter. Even minor improvements count, because over time they create massive shifts. Think about water dripping on stone. One drop does nothing, but thousands of drops carve through rock. That is the power of consistency. It seems small in the moment, but over time, it becomes unstoppable. If you truly want success, stop asking how to become more talented. Start asking how to become more consistent. Build a routine, protect your time, eliminate distractions, show up whether you feel like it or not. And understand this: success is not about intensity. It is about sustainability. Can you keep going when excitement fades? Can you keep practicing when results are slow? Can you keep improving when nobody is watching? That is what separates champions from amateurs. The power of consistency over talent is not just about work. It is about character. It is about integrity. It is about commitment. It is about refusing to let temporary emotions control permanent goals. You may not control your natural gifts, but you fully control your effort. You control your discipline. You control your habits. And that is more powerful than any talent, because talent is limited. But consistency has no ceiling. If you apply it long enough, you will outperform expectations. You will exceed predictions. You will surprise even yourself. So stop waiting to feel ready. Stop wishing for more ability. Stop doubting your potential because someone else seems more gifted. Commit to showing up. Commit to improving 1% daily. Commit to staying consistent when others quit. And I promise you this: if you remain consistent long enough, success becomes inevitable. Not immediate, not easy, but inevitable. And that is real power. If this message reminded you that you do not need to be the most talented person in the room, only the most consistent, then take that as your sign to commit today. And make sure you subscribe to this channel so you can. Before we continue, if you are committed to becoming the kind of person who shows up every single day no matter what, make sure you subscribe to this channel right now. Because discipline is not built in one moment. It is built through constant reminders, constant reinforcement, and constant growth. Now let's go deeper into the power of consistency over talent. The real advantage of consistency is not just improvement, it is momentum. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in life. When you act consistently, you build rhythm. When you build rhythm, you reduce resistance. When you reduce resistance, progress becomes natural. Most people struggle, not because the task is impossible, but because they keep stopping and starting. They rely on bursts of motivation. They go hard for 3 days, disappear for 2 weeks, then start again. That pattern kills progress. But the consistent individual, even if moving slowly, keeps advancing. And slow progress is still progress. Over time, slow progress becomes massive growth. Talent might make something easier in the beginning, but consistency makes something sustainable. Sustainability is what creates mastery. You do not become great by performing at your peak once. You become great by performing at a solid level repeatedly. Consistency trains your nervous system. It strengthens your habits. It builds neural pathways in your brain that make success automatic. The more you repeat an action, the less energy it takes to perform it. That is why discipline feels hard at first, but becomes easier with repetition. You are literally rewiring yourself. And here is something powerful. Consistency builds resilience in ways talent never can. When you rely on talent, you expect things to come naturally. When they do not, you become frustrated. But when you rely on consistency, you expect resistance. You expect setbacks, and because you expect them, they do not break you. They train you. A talented person who never struggled often collapses at the first major obstacle. But a consistent person has already fought internal battles, laziness, doubt, distraction, boredom, and won repeatedly. That internal strength becomes unstoppable in the external world. Consistency also builds credibility. People trust consistent individuals. Employers trust them. Teammates rely on them. Clients respect them. Because showing up every day creates reliability. Reliability creates reputation. Reputation creates opportunity. Talent may attract attention, but consistency builds trust. And trust opens doors that talent alone cannot. Think about any field: sports, business, art, fitness, education. The top performers are not just skilled. They are obsessive about repetition. They practice fundamentals daily. They refine basics relentlessly. They do not skip because they feel tired. They do not stop because they feel bored. They understand that greatness is built in ordinary days, not in dramatic moments. The crowd sees the highlight reel. They do not see the thousands of quiet repetitions behind it. But those repetitions are the foundation. If you commit to consistency, you separate yourself immediately. Because most people are emotionally driven. They work when inspired. They rest when discouraged. They quit when challenged. But the consistent individual works through emotion. They operate from commitment, not feeling. And that is rare, extremely rare. Another truth about consistency is that it multiplies self-belief. Every time you complete a task you promised yourself you would do, you strengthen self-respect. You build internal confidence. You create evidence that you can trust yourself. And self-trust eliminates hesitation. When you know you follow through, you take bigger risks. You set bigger goals. You attempt bigger challenges because you are no longer afraid of your own inconsistency. You know you will show up. That belief is powerful. Talent might impress others, but consistency impresses your future self. 5 years from now, it will not matter how gifted you were. It will matter how many days you refused to quit, how many mornings you woke up early, how many times you practiced when no one was watching, how many days you chose discipline over distraction. The results of consistency are invisible at first, then subtle, then undeniable. That is the process. First, you feel like nothing is happening. Then you notice small improvements. Then suddenly others notice. They call it luck. They call it talent. But you know the truth. It was consistency. It was daily effort. It was refusing to stop, and here is where it becomes powerful. Consistency builds character. It teaches patience in a world addicted to speed. It teaches focus in a world drowning in distraction. It teaches responsibility in a culture full of excuses. When you become consistent, you become stable. You become grounded. You become someone who can handle pressure because you are used to effort. And pressure reveals strength. Talent might shine under easy conditions, but consistency shines under pressure because pressure does not scare someone who is used to showing up daily. If you want to dominate in any area of life, stop chasing shortcuts. Stop looking for natural gifts. Build your foundation. Build habits so strong they carry you when motivation disappears. Build routines so solid they remove decision fatigue. Build standards so high that quitting feels uncomfortable. That is how you win long-term. The power of consistency is that it does not require perfection. You do not need to be amazing every day. You just need to be present every day. Some days will be strong. Some days will be average. Some days will feel slow. But as long as you do not stop, you are still ahead of those who quit. The difference between success and failure is often just endurance. Who can last longer? Who can keep improving longer? Who can remain committed longer? In most cases, that person wins, not because they were the most talented, but because they were the most persistent. So make a decision today. Decide that you will not rely on emotion. Decide that you will not depend on natural ability. Decide that you will build your success on daily effort. Create a standard for yourself that is non-negotiable. Show up when it is inconvenient. Show up when it is uncomfortable. Show up when it is boring. because consistency in boring days creates extraordinary outcomes. And remember, the goal is not to be better than someone else. The goal is to be better than you were yesterday. 1% improvement daily leads to massive transformation over time. Stay patient, stay focused, stay disciplined. And if this message is strengthening your commitment to daily action, make sure you subscribe right now so you continue developing the mindset and discipline needed to outlast, outperform, and outgrow everyone who relies on talent alone. Talent may start the journey, but consistency finishes it, and the one who finishes strong is the one who truly wins. If you're serious about taking action in your life, stop waiting and start now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, because here on this channel, we bring you daily motivation, life-changing insights, and the push you need to stop procrastinating and start achieving. Don't just watch, take action, and let's rise together.